State.
Oui, bonsoir tout le monde.
So tonight we have a very special guest. Yes, Brooke. Let's cheers.
Yes.
I don't
Cheers
know.
to Brooke Shang
Cheers!
Yeah.
of TYT
Clicking.
Academy.
So let's
Mhm.
have a sip.
Yes, and tell us a little bit about yourself, Brooke, and then you can tell us what you're drinking.
Yes.
Okay. I think before real estate, I thought I didn't have much to say or people wouldn't be interested in what I have to say. I stay at home for quite some time with my kids, and I
Mm,
actually didn't start focusing on real estate about 5 or 6 years ago.
Okay.
It felt like forever because it felt like I've done so much. But before then, I stayed at home, and at that point, I just started getting back to the workforce. And shortly after that, I thought, okay, now I've got back to the workforce. The kids are going to school full day now. What do I do with
mm,
my time? And if I really want to do something, then I should start now. So that's when I started to really focus on real estate
mm.
because I think, did you guys start it from one or two properties? Is that accidental landlord? Is that how you get started too?
Yeah,
A
pretty
little bit.
much. Yeah, it's my mom was our first tenant, and it was actually a mortgage penalty that served as a down payment on our first rental property. So it
Wow.
was really accidental, and we
Mhm.
never even thought about it before. So
Oh, okay. So very similar. We basically moved from a condo in Toronto to a semi-detached home where we are now.
Oh,
And then
cute.
we realized we didn't do much, and that's where we accumulated our wealth. So if
yeah.
I seriously looking at it, just imagine how much it could do for us. And I thought human beings are so smart. We figure out a way of doing so many things. How hard could it be to invest in real estate?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's when I decided to really learn about it and seriously thinking about investing in real estate and start to get educated
Oh,
Good.
to learn how
cool.
to do it right. Yeah.
That's so interesting. So, are you investing just by yourself? Or are you investing with your husband, or
Well,
is he not interested?
he's not as interested. We're still in a semi-detached home right now, open concept, so he could hear me upstairs.
Oh no. We have to be careful.
It's okay. I've been drinking, so I have an excuse to say
There you
whatever.
go.
Yes. What are
Yeah.
you drinking tonight, Brooke?
Oh, I actually asked my friends what's a good wine because I don't usually drink. I usually only drink socially. Oh, by the way, my husband just decided to stop drinking like 10 years ago. Cold stop.
Oh no.
Oh wow.
Okay,
So
so
we
I hope we didn't like mess it up for
no, no,
you.
no. So
Okay.
for me, it's only social drinking. I don't have wine at home for that
Yeah.
reason. So I asked around. I said, "Hey, I like something sweet. I know I like white." So my friend recommended this. I don't know if you can see. It's a very
Willem.
Oh,
long.
it's your
Oh,
Traminer.
that's one of our
Yes.
favorite Gewürztraminer. Yes, it's great.
Mm-hmm.
You can pronounce that word. I actually googled.
Gewürztraminer.
Yes.
You got it,
Yeah,
and
I don't
it's
think I do.
you got it because I googled it. You pronounced it right, and
I
it's from
practice.
France, right? It's a German word from France.
Yeah, well, it grows in France, even grows very close to you. So we actually went grape picking in the fall, and we picked the Gewürztraminer grapes in Prince Edward County. But yeah,
Oh,
no,
okay.
Mm-hmm.
originally it's German, and then yeah, France. I'm not sure where, but Alsace I read on your bottle. So good. It's a nice sweet wine, kind of dessert, but you can get some that are more dry as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I don't like it too dry, so when I was asking around, I almost went for an ice wine.
Oh yes, wow, that's really
Oh
sweet.
wow,
Then
cool.
that's really sweet, right?
Oh wow. So Brooke might be our first drunk on our show.
That's very true because I this is my third glass because I'm like,
Oh,
this is really good. That's why I asked you, hey, do you have any guests drunk on the show?
I love it. This is great.
Yeah, this is my third glass because
Oh wow.
I was testing it. I bought two different bottles. Another one's also white, and I opened this. I'm like, I really like this. I don't need to open the second one.
Good.
Keep it for Christmas.
Yeah.
It's nice, really cold. Like you have to drink it really, really cold and crisp, I find. We even have these rocks. I don't know. Well, if you get into drinking, that can
Yes.
keep it cool, like scotch,
Yeah,
kind of.
it looks like little. Oh, so I'm not even showing it. Looks like a little piece of granite.
Yeah.
or marble.
You
It
freeze it
does.
and then you put it in
Yeah,
your wine, and it's
it
it's
keeps
great.
it
It
cold.
keeps it cold, and it kind of looks cool. And what's in your
It
glasses?
does.
Yeah.
So.
I thought it was fake
Oh,
when
No,
you
it
it's a
is.
put them.
real rock. They actually stain. So when we go more red, it goes pink, and then it goes back when you drink more white. So it's kind of
You
neat.
you really want to keep it cold. So do you put the glass in the fridge or freezer too?
No, we could. Yeah, that would be smart, like a beer, but then the stem would be a little cold to hold. But
Oh
yeah.
Yes.
yeah, that's true too.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
We're,
So
we're
tell us,
learning. I'm learning.
yes.
Yeah.
Ask about TYT Academy. Is that kind of your investing?
Your education, that's where you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the education part. So, like I said, when I started, I didn't think I have anything interesting to share and to say. But
Mm-mm.
then as I realized the power of real estate, really we're in this to serve, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're helping investors to grow their wealth, you're helping tenants to have roof over their head. And for people like us who want to do what we do, really that's what the TYT Academy is about.
Oh,
And
cool.
um, I started to learn about real estate, and then people got interested and start to ask, so how do you do this? And
Mm.
usually it's not a one or two sentence, right? It's usually
No. It's a long
Yeah,
no,
it's
conversation.
complicated.
it's a long conversation. And after I started to learn about it, I always thought, hey, I want to share anyways. So, by the way, my parents are both teachers. My father,
Oh,
Oh,
wow. So that
yeah,
came out. You're a teacher at
it
heart.
came naturally.
I never thought I would follow their footstep, to be honest with you, because my dad retired and he owned like a private school. And I
Oh,
immigrated from Taiwan, so
okay.
it's more like I don't know if you know like Kumon, that kind of
Oh,
chain
yes.
private. Yeah, so that's the type of school my father used to
So
own.
more like tutoring kind of to help performance teaching kind of. Oh, that's great.
Mm.
Yeah, so on top of the school education, that's basically what it was. And I know there's a lot of courses or education out there, but what we offer is a lot more systematic.
Okay.
So yeah, so it's when people ask me how to explain it, it's more like you. I look at it personally to
Mm.
look at it as a university education,
Yes.
because
Okay.
yeah, because a lot of people say I focus on flip. I look at it as okay, then your major is flips.
Yeah, that's
And
so true though. I love this.
Yeah.
yeah, and when I people ask me what I do, I would say, hey, I do creative deals. So creative financing, private lending, rental, lease option. That those are the type of investment I'm focusing on. And at the same time, I'm the type of person, I don't know if you're the same. A lot of investors try one strategy and then they want to expand. They're like, okay, I know how it works now. Let's see
Mhm.
what else I can focus on. So yes, I do think when you start focus on something, then succeed in it, master in it, then be a trained or seasoned investor in that specific strategy. Then we look at okay, our goal in life keep changing, right?
Yes.
So
Mhm.
yeah, so I'm a lot older than most investors coming in. So I would say, okay, for what I need or this stage in my life, I'm probably not going to be as active with kids at home. I'm probably not going to be the one that pick up the hammer, put up the
Yeah.
drywall, understand, four by four, things like that. So really, when sometimes people talk to me, I'm like, I'm almost like a school counselor. If you ask me, yeah, if this is not for you, then you can be a passive investor too.
Yeah, that's it.
Mhm.
I mean, everybody can be an investor just at a different way and different age groups, like you said. Or if you're busy
Mhm.
with a young family, maybe more passive because just don't have the time. I love
Mhm.
this analogy, the school and the.
Mhm.
That's great.
So tell us, Brooke. Like you had said that you kind of accidentally got into investing. So how
Mhm.
did that come about? Like, how did you kind of start out investing? What made you even think about real estate investing?
Oh, yeah. So go back to when we owned the condo, we moved to the house. Our down payment is basically the equity from the condo
Oh,
we have
perfect.
accumulated, right? So
Mhm.
even though we didn't know the power of HELOC, then we
Yeah.
didn't even think about it. But then once we started to look, we realized, hey, this is basically where we could accumulated our wealth, and we didn't even think about it. So we moved out and then we rented the condo out. So the condo a cash flow because there's equity. So if
Yes.
you're 80% down, no, a single family home,
No.
it won't cash flow. But because we owned it for a while, and that HELOC actually helped us to, move to this property.
Great.
And yeah, it's only after 1 or 2 years after we moved here, I started to learn about real estate. Same thing. I used a HELOC again to invest in my education.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the mortgage broker I work with at the time say, hey, you can even take on more equity in the house you're living in
Yeah.
now. So even without knowing too much about it, we already see the power of real estate. And of course, we didn't take all the money just to spend.
No, on clothes and wine and
Yeah, we invested in my education and we invested in other properties that we started to get into. So another important thing is, we're talking here and talking to like-minded people. So
yes.
yeah, so my very first deal is actually just with fellow students, right
Oh,
at my
perfect.
table, back when everything was live.
Yes.
Yeah. So at that time, I didn't strategically think, like I said, what I should major in. So the first that I was, I did so many deals. It looked good on the book that, hey, I've been working, but then my cash flow wasn't that great.
No.
I just did a lot of deals, and the first year it just felt like I worked hard but didn't strategically move my path forward.
Yeah, that's such a good point to mention because you can keep buying and buying. Yes, the buying power is there, but what is it accomplishing what you wanted to do? So that's
Mhm.
huge. So it's like, what do you look for when analyzing a deal now that you have more experience, much more experience?
So like it's stage by stage. When I get started, even though in the back of my head I was thinking, okay, I need the cash flow. I want to see real estate really working.
Yes,
If I just buying like what I did and waiting for appreciation, I really didn't
that's a
learn
long time
anything.
sometimes.
That's a long time. And I have to say we're lucky in Ontario since I started in 2016, 2017, right?
Oh, wow, those were crazy years.
Yeah, so I think we've been lucky. But at the same time, unless I sell, unless I refinance, I thought, okay, but then I still want to see cash flow. To to basically to me, it was to make sure that what I learn actually works, to
Yeah,
prove a concept. So that's at that point, that's when I started to actively look into rent to own. And I should have started lending and make my money work, but at first I was a little scared and I look at very small deals. So I buy property, say for example, 100,000 in Windsor or smaller property. Looking back, if I'm getting into bigger deals and I get into lending deals like 20,000 or 50,000 to get started, but it's just because I want to get comfortable first.
that's it. And I think that's important. I mean, if you skip that step, then you might take too much risk and then possibly regret it. So
Yeah, but when I look back, I would think, okay, if I'm a little bit more comfortable, I could probably run a little bit faster and reach my cash flow goal.
yes,
My cash flow goal at the time was just to match my working income, basically.
perfect. That's a great start. I mean, then you're free to do whatever you want, and the time. Do you find like so now you're job free, you're doing different things, but um, you see opportunities differently once you no longer have that job that you need to do. I find anyway.
Yeah, I think it's abundance mindset, isn't it, Francois?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
No, it's shocking what like the opportunities. Like Jennifer is soon joining me in in this world, and yeah, just it changes things. Like you start attracting different relationships, different things that you don't have time during the day normally, but now
Mhm.
you can see the others doing things, and yeah, you can pick up on things. So it's great.
Yeah, and it's great that you mentioned opportunities because I think before we focus on real estate, the opportunities are always there, the deals are there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, you just are not open to it or not yet trained to see the opportunities right there.
yeah,
Yeah. So right now, Do you find it the same? It's like there's so many opportunities. My money is
Oh,
already working. I see this other opportunity. I hope I have more money, but it's already working hard for me elsewhere. Isn't that
Yes.
what you're experiencing now?
oh,
Yeah.
it's hard. Then you fall into the shiny penny syndrome, and there's this deal and that deal, and you go crazy.
Yeah.
Yes, and same thing. Especially now we're starting to see new investors coming to the academy, for example.
Good.
That's the thing. It's all good opportunity. So where do I go?
Yeah. How do
Mhm.
I start?
Yeah.
Yeah, that must be
Yes.
the number one question that you get. How do I start?
hmm so when people are excited, I love that. You see the
Mhm.
fire that people really want to do something. At the same time, they have to be pulled back a little bit. Same thing,
Yes.
same thing for us. So
Mhm.
for instance, and Jennifer, say for example, you say this year, this is my goal, but then there's other deals going ongoing. So what do I do? So even for myself, I have to remind myself, hey, this is a great
Calm
deal, but
down.
that doesn't fit my goal. So calm down. Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's a really good point is to keep your goals kind of top of mind because you can get distracted sometimes.
Yeah, and then you waste
definitely.
time like on things that are not accomplishing your goals, but are interest. Everything's interesting if you start thinking about it, and then yeah, you waste time and
Yeah.
it's not focused. So.
So I
Yeah,
want to
and
go.
yeah.
Yeah, I want to go back again, Brooke. You said
Mhm,
that you kind of started out by educating yourself.
mhm.
So you were investing in your education. So maybe just kind of give us an idea. Were you going through mentoring programs, coaching programs? Were you
Reading
just
books
binge reading books?
or
All
audiobooks
the
or
above.
All the all the above.
oh wow, okay, you were really hooked.
All the above, and then also a lot of meetups. So
Mm,
for instance, there's so many meetups in
uh,
Ontario.
how do you pick?
How do you
Especially
pick, right?
back in before COVID, it was crazy.
mhm,
It was crazy, and you see the same faces
mhm,
a lot of the times, and then you know who is active, who are the people you connect with.
Yes.
mhm.
I have to say yes, that did help me accelerate. Is that the same thing for you guys? The
Oh
Oh,
network?
yeah.
yes, absolutely.
And you see like certain groups have this kind of a flavor as well, like a certain beat.
hmm
One's more competitive, one's more this, one's more that, and yeah, you find people you identify with, just like you mentioned. So it's very important to like the people you surround yourself with because you'll spend a lot of time with them. So
Mhm.
Yeah, and geek talk about real estate too, right?
that's it.
Yes.
It kind of replaces your family. It's bad, but
It's the
Maybe
other
not.
family.
not the kids and
Not that
wife and
bad.
or husband, but
But
Yeah.
what did you kind of think were like was there anyway more a more important part of that education? Did you find that the
Mhm.
meetups were more important, or was there something that you felt was more, or maybe that talked to you more than another part of that?
I think it's a mix of things.
Yeah.
Like we mentioned, the deals are there and a lot of people jump on it. But at the same time, it's always important to have a coach or accountability partner or a mentor there.
Mm-hmm.
Because I look at everybody successful. Everybody has a coach, no matter where you are.
yeah,
Yeah, you might need coach for one aspect once you master something else. And
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, if we're here, if we can offer and serve the same thing, you're here. You're offering the platform so we can share and serve at the same time. It's all of the above. And I will give you an example. So I think if I didn't personally, if I didn't invest in my education, I probably wouldn't move as fast.
no,
Mm-hmm.
No,
because
and
you'd be scared, like you don't know, is this risky,
Or
and
make
you
a lot of
kind of
mistakes.
try it, and oh, and then you step back, and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
it's so true.
And you learn from others' mistakes too, right? So
Yes,
yeah, if I have this problem, Francois and Jennifer, have you seen the same thing? How did you deal with it?
yeah,
Did you have the same tenant issue? Yes, you did. How did you deal with it? Can you give me a referral? Things like that. So yes, the education makes sure it's okay. Let's go back a little bit. It's funny people get into education for anything. But then for real estate, a lot of people just think there's so much money in it, so much profit to make. I'll just jump in. If I can make a mistake and get back, I'll be fine.
yeah. But it could take a long time. It depends how big the mistake is.
Yeah, exactly. If you're engineer, if you're accountant, even if you're learning how to drive, you always want somebody to help. But
Yeah,
when you are seriously doing this, why not? Why not
Yeah.
getting somebody there to help, right? So another thing is, yes, I invested in my education. I also look at So I really have to get into the deals or profit from my deals. So there's return on my investment.
Yes. Yeah,
That's
you're not
great.
just buying and parking your money. I mean, there's a big difference.
And like you said, you look at money differently now. It's always about return. It's not how much you put in, it's how much return you get back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so true.
And right now I'm looking at it a lot. Daniel Saint-Jean, that you know with the right club, he's talking about your return on time as well, which is big. Because at
Yeah.
first you're all in, oh yeah, I don't mind putting 100 hours. And then at some point, well, time is also, it's not infinite. Money, I find, is more infinite than time for sure.
Hmm. Yeah.
So that's a big deal, especially with you with a family. We have a young fam. Well, they're not so young
Yeah, they're not
anymore.
young anymore.
We have an old family. They're like almost adults. But still, time is not replaceable. So how do you manage that, Brooke? Do you have some tips or?
Um, yes, my kids are actually upstairs. They're 12 and 16. So like your kids, they're self-sufficient in a way, but at
Yeah.
the same time, I think we're still cool enough for them to hang out.
No, yeah, that
Ooh.
sounds good.
I mean, I want to hang on to that, right?
Yeah.
A
Yes.
lot of parents realize that.
Mhm.
So, like you said, yes, time is important. I've been very lucky, I have to say, even with my day job, my hours have always been flexible.
Oh, okay.
So,
So you still hold a full-time job. Wow.
yeah, and
Good.
my family is in Taiwan, so that's where I'm originally from. Even since I started working, I always had at least a month to 3 months
To go
if I
back to
want.
Taiwan. Great. Wow,
Mm.
that's wonderful.
Because I work in the computer industry, by the way, so everything is set up like we're
Yeah.
doing Zoom now, and I can work remote as long as I have my computer with me.
Anywhere in the world. That's great.
Ah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So actually, with Trust Your Talent right now, we kept saying yes, we want the time, but at the same time, I'm not totally against putting in the time and work if that's your passion.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Hmm. So yes, teaching and coaching, mentoring, etc. It's taking up our time, but at the same time, that's what I choose to do, right?
Yeah,
And
you enjoy
Yes.
it. So that doesn't feel like you're spending time. But we were talking, I think, before we came on air, but about swinging the hammer and stuff. I don't
yeah,
add value there at all.
Mhm.
Or
me either.
Jennifer, but you're not bad at demolition. What?
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
But or like accounting or certain details, it's not our specialty. So you find the experts to help you with that.
Mhm.
Exactly, and you save so much more time, right? That way.
Oh yeah,
Hmm.
it's a big key to your success.
Yes, and it's
Hmm.
important to be organized and having systems. So what do you
Hmm.
teach your students or your mentees, or how do you call them, first of
Well,
all?
is it mentoring or
Mentee.
coaching or kind of a combination of both?
Yeah,
Or
a combination.
okay.
So yes, mentees, and you'll probably interview Tim and Ray one day. They're
Yeah,
my
that'd be
mentor.
great.
So same thing. It's just like I felt like it's one generation passing it down to the next,
Great.
Mm,
and like you have kids too, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So, and the next generation or the next generation of students, they might do even better than me, but that's
I hope
great.
so for us, like, that's our goal is the students do better than you, and that's awesome. Like, you always wanna be surrounded by bigger, success stories.
Mhm.
Yeah. And as parents, you feel that too, right? It's fine. Our kids
Yeah,
are doing better than us. That's our goal.
perfect.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's what we want. We're kind of it's like darts that you're throwing into the future. You want it to go far.
Further, yeah.
Yeah. And okay, this is probably not enough time, but I love to talk about because a lot of people ask, okay, our kids are at an age you can communicate with them.
Yes.
And
Mhm.
for sure, we've learned a lot through real estate, and you talk about abundance mindset. I would put it that way. Like, sure, other people have deals, students have deals, or you and I have deals, but there's more deals. We can create wealth through real estate.
Yes.
Mhm.
That's what I love about it. And we're focusing on different things, perhaps, or different markets. So I look at, okay, so once you're a parent, you know what you want to put out there. You want to um, I call it serving or just passing
Yeah.
down the knowledge. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So what do we do with our next generation? And I think that's something all the parents will think about. And everybody said, okay, I want generational wealth. I'm doing this for my legacy and stuff like that. So then how do you do it? How do you pass it down?
You
One
have
thing
to
is
learn it yourself first of all as well.
Yeah.
setting an example, I guess. That's
Yes.
another
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Are your kids interested in real estate investing yet?
No, but I can hear from their language. I think they have an idea how it works.
Oh, okay. They
Yeah.
pretend not to be interested, but at some point it will connect. Maybe when they're 21. Usually I find
Well, they don't see the pertinence at that age, right? Like they're
no.
not there yet.
Mhm. When do you guys get start? How old were you?
Well,
No, in our 30s.
yeah, in our 30s, I would say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mid 30s, 35. We're 41 now. So around it's been 6 years or so, so around 35. Before that we were buying houses and just fixing them up and living in them. It wasn't really
House hacking?
investing. It was just kind of house hacking. That's
Without even really knowing that that's what we were doing.
yeah, it was like, oh, this is an ugly house. It's a bargain. Let's move in and
It fits
fix
in
it.
our budget.
Easy to sell. That's the question we always ask ourselves when we buy a house. How quickly can we sell this place? And normally it's very quick, but our first house took a full year to sell. So that was not a good move.
Yes.
It was probably the timing.
There was a
2008
recession.
We put it up for sale when the whole bubble burst in 2008,
Yeah.
and it had a garage. It was in Eastern Ontario where it snows quite a bit, and the garage was downstairs underneath the house, so nobody wanted that because it's hard for snow removal. And yeah, we learned the hard way. I love the house, but just not for everyone.
That's
You
just
have
the
to
way
be careful what you buy.
Okay, so that's a lesson learned.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways,
Huge lesson learned.
Yeah.
So, Brooke, there's another thing that you said that I found quite interesting was that you said that at the beginning you started off with like very small deals, 100,000 because you were a bit scared. And then you were able to kind of graduate, I guess we'll use more educational terms, to bigger deals. So how did you go from the small deals to the bigger deals? Kind of maybe walk us through that.
Another thing is when I started investing, it was just me. My husband was kind of just observing, okay, this is what
you're
do.
Crazy.
Yeah, like use your own qualification first and
see how that goes.
Yeah, if you're serious about it. But at first I thought, okay, then this is the education I already invested in so much. So side note, when I was staying at home, I didn't know if I could find a job or get back to the job market.
Yeah, that's hard after a few years.
After 10 years.
Wow. Especially in your field of work, things change like this.
Contact with my ex-colleagues at the time. So my husband even said, okay, if you don't have something to do once the kids are full-time in school, maybe you can invest in your small business or find something to do. Speaking Chinese, I was thinking, okay, probably I'll just do importing, exporting, or find something small just to occupy my time. But funny enough, when we mentioned that number, that's pretty much how much I invested in my education.
Wow. Well, that's good though. I mean, if it helps you propel you, then it's worth it. You're turning it into millions, so it's worth it. And again, it's a mindset shift. It seems like a crazy number, but
yeah. And then I look at it as ROI that hasn't stopped. For you guys, it hasn't stopped because we're still investors. Yeah. And when I asked you when you started, because I thought, okay, we all want our kids to do it. We want to give them that mindset. But like us, we have to go through that path. So I cannot just say, oh, this is good, just do it. In my experience, no, they have to go through it.
Yeah, that's so true.
Just like growing up and making mistakes and hurting themselves. Like when you first try to ride a bike, you're gonna fall and hurt yourself, and you keep going no matter how. Oh yeah, just go straight. Well, that's easy to say, but
yeah,
it's different for
that's
everyone.
easy. Yeah. So I think the best thing we can do is okay, we set an example, but really it's not just because we say I've experienced what real estate could bring for us or change our lives. They just take it as is. Like they're gonna try, they're gonna make mistakes. Otherwise, people use the analogy of Matrix, right? Do they want the easy life or the hard life?
Yeah, the pills.
Yeah. And not too long ago, I heard somebody saying usually hard life and learn, and then another pill is basically Kardashian life. So everybody picked the easy life, but at the same time, all the psychologists said people who commit a suicide is people who have no
Easy
goal.
life.
The easy life, they don't know what to do with their life. Like, okay, that's it. It's boring. I'm gonna try drugs to make life more interesting, or I just
Something.
yeah.
Yeah. And if our kids listen to us right away, my son would be making his bed like 14 years ago.
Yeah.
They will start to do laundry at the age of 4.
Yes.
That's it.
Exactly.
And dishes, I need to be saving for his retirement right now. And yeah, you have to make those mistakes, buy silly things, and then, oh, well, maybe I overspent. And yeah, there's things, and even as an investor, again, there are things you're gonna do and regret. Like you said, you started small and you kind of wish you went bigger, but maybe, well, the support wasn't there. Your husband was observing, but he wasn't fully supportive yet. So it makes a difference in the couple. Like us, we always did it together. Sometimes I make decisions and Jennifer's like, yeah, maybe it's not such a great idea, but it's kind of too late. So now I kind of consult her more, and same with her. So
Yeah.
it's important to build that support network and accountability you mentioned earlier. That's huge. That's something you offer, Brooke, as well.
That's again your coach or mentor basically keep you accountable, and I would say the student does a lot themselves, because
Yes.
you cannot do everything for them. Like I look at student deal, I'm hoping like I'll just put in the money, I'll just structure the deal, but you're not supposed to do that.
No.
Same thing with your kids, right?
Because you're not helping them. It's like the bird, like not the bird, the chrysalid. If you remove on the
caterpillar.
The caterpillar, if you remove the cocoon, it doesn't become a butterfly. It's like a dead caterpillar. So you have to let it struggle a little bit, like students find their own solution, and then they get better at it.
Yeah, and I don't like I said, I started investing myself, but I thought if he comes to qualify with me or do everything with me, I probably wouldn't learn as much about joint venture or try to get creative or find a good deal so investors will follow. So I'm actually glad that's the path we're on, because at the same time, by the way, we're in Toronto, we're actually in a 1,200 square foot home, and my son is 6'1", so we always
oh wow
a
big boy.
They could hear me. We're like it's like a condo on the ground. That's how I describe a Sammy in Toronto.
Yes.
So one of the things is we always want to move to a bigger home.
Yes.
And that's why we couldn't use all our qualification, because there's always a possibility of us moving and needing that qualification. But however, because I've done different deals and things like that, we actually learn how to use qualifiers or have other people helping us. So, or how to get a deal in a competitive market.
Yeah, that's huge. And that I always hear that excuse, oh, the market's too hot. Well, there's always deals. So can you give us some tips on finding deals in a hot market? I'd love to hear some ideas or strategies.
So a couple of things. Actually, the funny thing is we put an offer on 2 or 3 homes for ourselves. So
okay.
Being homeowners, you're not rational.
That's hard.
Sometimes.
Your heart's in it. I love this place. It's perfect.
But at the same time, you're an investor. You don't want to overpay.
Yeah.
You want to use all the little tips you have or tricks.
Even for your own house, I know it's bad.
Even for our own home. So luckily, we're in a neighborhood. So things like, we basically put in an offer, asking the neighbors how they're like and what their background is. So we did get a lot of information. And for the house there were 14 offers.
Whoa.
And of course, I put in an offer with deposit enough to cover both agents' commission. So they're going to work hard for you. And I remember they accept the offer at 10. The bank opens at 9:30. So I ran to the bank, grabbed the draft, took a picture so the agent could send it along with the offer. And I only have an hour, so I was sitting in the parking lot just using my phone, typing a letter to the seller to say, hey, we're serious. I know the neighborhood and things like.
Wow.
So things like that. And because you're real estate. I'll tell you, for one of our investment property, I was waiting for appraisal, and then I was just chatting with a mortgage specialist, and he told me, Brooke, by the way, I know the property, and my client actually put in an offer on as well, and the appraisal will pass through because my client are pre-approved, but you got the offer, so you should be fine. So we know that we didn't overpay, and just within the community, right? At the same time, when we are looking for rental properties, for example, I will ask around to say, hey, if you're a flipper or a wholesaler, do you happen to have something there?
Yeah.
Things like that. So would you rather be in a market that doesn't appreciate than you can't sell your property? Of course, everybody loves a hot market.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. It's hot for a reason, so it's a good place to buy, but you have to be very wise about it.
Yeah. And so when you're complaining, well, but that's a good thing. You're complaining about the right thing, and things like there's not enough supply in Ontario. Okay, so what we're offering is a hot commodity, is something
Yeah.
scarce, and yeah, so things like that. And I actually post a lot on Facebook, or I put articles out. There's always people questioning or put in comments that I put down. I love that, because I think for you guys too, then people ask you, why are you in real estate? If we have all these questions, then we get to think as investors ourselves. Okay, then I can think about why I'm investing in it. What does this information tell me as an investor? What I can use this
Yeah.
information for? Yeah.
Oh,
And
that's awesome.
yeah, and you do that a lot at the Right Club too, when you're presenting or you're speaking to investors. People love information, but at the same time, people like to ask questions or challenge what's put out. Perfect. Then that give us a reason to think, hey, why am I in this, right? How
Yes,
can I
exactly.
address everybody's concern?
Yeah, and I love something you mentioned earlier. So it's creative strategies, creative financing. That's our major as well. We'll start using that. Thanks, Brooke. It's really our major, creativity, because we used to do interior design. We love anything creative and different and pushing the boundaries. So that's what appealed to me. Just buying like very cookie cutter, always the same, doesn't appeal to me. I like the challenge. I
You
like when
love the
it's a bit
challenge.
complicated and it's a hot market, like you said, 50 offers, 15 offers, whatever, or buying out a country. So like right now, we set up our corporation in Costa Rica. So I know
Wow.
Spanish, but I have to read the corporate documents in Spanish. It is a bit of a challenge. I'm not used to legalese in Spanish, like just
Yeah.
challenges and pushing things. And
I hope
I
you have
like
your
that.
diccionario.
Yeah, por supuesto.
Are you learning Spanish now? Is that where you want to retire later on in life?
I'm not sure, but for fun, it looks like fun. So we have two big criteria for us. It's fun and a bit of a challenge as well, which makes it fun, and cash flow and all that for sure. But the fun and all that, I think, is very important, because this is your daily life. Well, for us anyway. And I mean, yeah, we meet so many interesting people, and kind of have to make it fun as well. It is a business, but it should be fun.
Yeah, it is fun in a way. I found, like you said, everybody, perhaps you like interior design, everybody like different things, can find something in
Yeah.
real estate that would fit their
You like
personality or
numbers or
interest. Yeah.
times, or helping, like you mentioned a lot about giving back. There's a very nice part about real estate. If you're generous, and you should be really, and if you have the abundance mindset, you're really giving back. Like you said, you're providing good housing. You're helping other people grow as well by talking to them. It's amazing. It's very rewarding.
It is very rewarding, right? And what it could lead in your life as well.
Yeah, and like everybody, it's for me and the investors. Now I get to hire people as well, so I'm very fortunate. I think my VAs will be listening to this, so I have to be careful, but they're excellent. I love my team in the Philippines. I love helping, like, yeah, just helping, or like
Now they're
Costa
going to be
Rica.
slacking off. No.
Yeah, MJ, you're doing a great job. Get to work.
Are you going to visit them someday? Well, hey, maybe that's a destination.
Yeah, that might be interesting.
I've asked if, like, right now it's a bit tough with COVID. They can't even go between provinces, but I'd love to go to the Philippines and and meet them in person. Can you imagine? That would be really cool. Because
Yeah,
some
that'd
of
be
them I've
interesting.
known for a
Cool.
year now, and we've always
Mhm.
met on video, but never in person. Maybe I'm a giant and they're short, or maybe they're super tall. And
I've heard investors doing that actually.
Oh
that
yeah,
would
we
be
can
so
fly them
cool.
to Canada so they can see snow.
Oh, yeah, let's bring them in January. They're gonna love it.
Oh my
I
goodness.
love it here. Yeah. Well, I'm from Taiwan, so the good thing about because we're in North America, it's huge, right?
Yes,
Mhm.
Yeah. So if you're in Europe, 100 kilometers here and there, you're in different countries already.
but
Yes.
not
Yeah.
here. You can drive for days.
Same TV program, same language. So yes, when I go back to Taiwan, same thing. I can fly an hour or two, then it's a completely different language, different culture. But that's the thing. That's what people do real estate for. Then that's what it could help you do, right? You
Mhm.
you
The
have that freedom.
lifestyle.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's. I don't think it's completely passive. Like
No,
No,
oh
it's
no,
not
no, no.
passive.
Oh, that's a
not
total
completely
lie.
passive.
Even private lending, you still need to look for that next people you're gonna lend to and plan. Okay, this is coming in June. I need to put my money here, and it's not passive. It's not true.
No, really
It,
not.
it's yeah, it's still your business, like you said. And I found, same thing with private lending. You probably found that too. Then you have to understand. I mean, we don't pick up a hammer, but you have to understand how it works, how the
Yeah, the
process
cost, the
works.
value, is it a safe investment? How do you vet people? It's a lot of meeting and getting to
Mhm.
know. Joint ventures, you mentioned, we do a lot of joint ventures. It's a lot of meetings. It's really fun. You get to meet people, know
Yeah.
about cultures. We just met with an awesome person. Maybe he's listening in Woodstock, Ontario. We had like a crazy dinner and we were
Mhm.
welcome like royalty, but you meet people and you have to understand what drives them and can you connect and all that. Are you aligned? So Brooke, are you
Hmm.
aligned with your partners? Is How does it work?
Yes, that's very important. I've also, sometimes I think, okay, let's be open and try
Yeah,
to
you
do
have to be
different deals.
transparent.
You have to be transparent. But I do find if you're aligned, so I have investors who are not seriously invested in real estate. There are also investors like you and I, we happen to have money now, so I invest in your deals or you invest in my deals, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
So I do find people not in the community, they really trust you as a person. They really know, trust, and like you as a person. Sometimes it takes a little bit more work, but
To
I'm
build
I'm
that trust, yeah.
yeah, but I'm willing to do that. That's no problem. I've also have investors that just saying, I know you invest. I just want certain return. Take my money, do whatever, but this is the return I want. I'm totally okay with that too. Then they basically just like invest in me or my company. Um, so yes, we have to align. What I actually found really hard in Ontario, how do you align with the tenant and then with the
Oh
tenant
yeah.
law and etc.
That's a
That's
challenge. Mhm.
that's a challenge and not
And a half.
something. Yes, yeah, not something we can control.
No.
So yeah, so sometimes it's just the game we're playing. That's the field. Then
Mhm.
what do you do? Then whether you steer away from that or you go to different provinces, look at different markets, or you fund your money, use your money elsewhere to do something different
Yeah,
as
absolutely.
well. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, we're mentioning that. I'm just saying there's always challenge. There's always challenge. We're playing within the framework
Yes,
or
Yeah.
the
exactly.
rules we're giving.
And you
Yeah.
have to be comfortable. Jennifer knows some people that are starting out
Hmm.
and they are starting out to invest with us with very small amounts. Again, we won't do that with just anyone because a small amount is just as much work as a big amount, as you know. Like a duplex is as much work as a 12-plex and a 24-plex, I find anyway. But it's nice to see the growth and to help people along the way, like gain that trust and confidence. Okay, I've put in X amount, now I can do more and more, and it's exciting to see people see all the
Growing trust,
possibilities.
Mhm.
growing trusting you, and basically growing with your business too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a privilege. Mhm.
So what's next for you, Brooke? 2022, it's just around the corner.
Yes.
You know what? I mentioned that okay, I reached my cash flow goal, but then I realized having the cash flow, there's a lot of work.
Yes.
Um, so right now I'm steering away, not focusing as much on cash flow. Yes, I'm still looking at cash flow, but you have tenants. And I found yes, sometimes property cash flow. I'm actually looking at better tenants and
Yeah.
then fewer properties.
That's
So
really smart. Less is more. That's number one design rule in interior design is less is
mhm,
more. You don't need more. You just need better quality properties, better quality tenants, less headaches,
mhm.
less time, and less worries, less gray hair. That's why
Yes,
Jennifer has no gray. Mine is all gray.
let you deal with everything.
It's all
No.
him.
Yeah, she dumps it
Yeah,
on me. No, but
No.
it's important
yeah.
to focus
Um,
on quality.
focus on quality, and sometimes we say, okay, this is my goal. I even found that with students too. From the time they started to 2 months down the road, their view or their strategy might change.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
yeah. So, for example, when I had a few long-term hold properties, I thought, okay, these are long-term holds. My rent-to-owns are 3-year projects, then I'm done. But the funny thing is, I actually sold quite a lot of my long-term holds because you never know. It makes sense at that point.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the appreciation is insane. Whoa, this is exciting. You feel almost like it's gambling. Like you feel like that all the bets are out. You need to sell now.
Yeah, and like we mentioned, sometimes I'm like, I don't think that's the market I want to be in, or that's
Yeah.
not the type of tenant I'm focusing on now. So you actually got rid of those instead of
Yeah.
other property as planned. I actually sold quite a lot this year and last year, surprisingly. Yes, appreciation. Also, I found sometimes refinancing is nice and people
Yes.
like that. At the same time, your cash flow reduced a lot once you refinance because the mortgage is high. So
It's gone.
it's gone. And so sometimes I'm thinking, okay, I pretty much took out the equity and I see other opportunities. So I ended up selling it because basically by refinance, I already took the money out and the cash flow is not the best. I should move on to something else.
Yeah, we've
Um,
done the same.
oh, you've done the same, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
It's kind of
Yeah.
like your clothes. You have to purge once in a while. So some properties
Yeah.
you started out with, they were great back then, but now you've evolved as an investor. It's no longer aligned with your purpose and your long-term
We're
goals.
gonna
Like
have to start doing the Mary Kondo
yes, with
strategy with our
properties.
properties.
Yes.
Does it bring?
Yes.
Does it spark joy?
No,
Oh,
it's out.
oh, yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. So, any last words of advice, Brooke, before
We let you go see your kids and enjoy
yeah,
the rest
Um,
of your wine.
finish your bottle of wine?
oh my God, I drank so much. I don't know if you can see. It's all me. So just because you mentioned that, yes, less is more. I actually found when people want more, they don't have the abundance mindset. Why
No,
do
that's
people
it.
Mm,
hoard? Yeah. Why do people hoard? Because they're afraid of losing it. Why
Yeah.
do we buy so much at a discounter Black Friday or Cyber Monday?
Oh, they go nuts. It's 10% off. I'm gonna buy 10 times more. 10% off. Like you should buy maybe 10% more, not 10 times more.
yeah.
So isn't that funny? The more you have, but it's actually the opposite of abundance mindset because you're
Mhm.
afraid of losing, of not having. So I'm looking at it at like, okay, so if I'm selling, people count doors. Perhaps I'm gonna stop counting doors, but look at um,
The
like you
real
said,
return.
yeah, the quality of the return. And actually, I have to say, one of the goal I mentioned is to find our new home. So we're
Mhm.
building our new
Yes.
home in the neighborhood. So that's
Whoa.
something I'm really excited about.
That is
Yes.
exciting.
Yeah. So it's an infill project, even though um, it's different from other investments. So yes, we're building it and thinking about
Mhm.
return. If one day we retire, it has to make sense. But
Yeah.
it's very yeah, but it's very rewarding because that's something we've been working towards.
And you're
Um,
building your dream home in the neighborhood you like, and you're really
mhm.
shaping it and making sure your 6'1" son will fit in it. The
Yeah,
doorways are big enough and
yeah. So maybe I'll get some design ideas from you guys.
sure.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, we need
Yeah,
to start decorating. This is very bland.
I'm very bland too. Just a door and some books. as well.
I
Yeah.
love what Coco Chanel, the great designer, always said is when she left a place or something, what else can I remove? Like she was in an era where women wore tons of jewelry and tons of things, but she always thought about less, 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 and she took off the jewelry and everything. So it's kind of cool, just like that with real estate. What really matters, like your house, this is huge, and the return, you'll get to enjoy it for years to come. And you're improving a neighborhood. It's an infill, so you're maybe densifying or creating some more cash flow and things. So
Yeah. Speaking of, again, every time you tell me something that reminds me or inspire me of something else.
Or
So
somebody
when
just rang our doorbell.
yeah, mystery. Sorry about that, but let's continue since we're live.
okay, we're so casual. So for Coco Chanel to start, she actually started with casual wear, right?
Yes.
And it's a luxury brand, the biggest luxury brand right now. Well, at her era, she was looking at it thinking, okay, I'm gonna tune it down instead of
Yeah,
going the other way. Yeah. So
yeah, it was
I
the
found that
opposite.
quite interesting.
Like the tan, like being this is not such a good trend, but being tan, she came back because she had a big sunburn from a trip, and that's how tanning became popular. So that one I don't like so much, but because skin cancer. But back then people were careless, so
They didn't know as
they didn't know
much.
any better, and the sun was better, I guess, protected with the and all that.
Yeah,
So
with
the
everything else. Yeah. And also I have my book. It's about
wow,
a year
financial
ago.
freedom the royal way. Nice, congrats.
Thank you. I was looking at Facebook memory. So it was a year ago now. I was at the printing shop and grabbing the copy. It wasn't published then, but I just got a copy in my hand. So that was really exciting. I haven't been pushing it as hard as I did in the beginning. But since we're
Yes.
talking about legacy and, sharing what we've learned. So I would just like to mention that.
Wow, congrats. How can people get a copy of your book? Is it on Amazon or what's the
Um,
best way?
yeah, it's on Amazon, or you can just reach out to me. Then
So
I'll sign it and send it.
brookeshang.com?
Actually, yes, brookshang.com will
Wow.
direct you to it, or just real estate networking queen is the .com is the
Wow, I'm
book.
so impressed. I'm speaking with an author. Like you were already impressive, but a book as well. And it makes it feel more real. Like people can read your story and I love it. I've been thinking about it, writing a book, but yeah, I'm not. It would be very short. I like to talk a lot, but I need someone to write it for me.
Well, we'll talk about it. Right now, there's so many different tools you can have. You can basically talk, and then the computer will type for you. Then you edit it.
Yes.
So yeah,
Wow. Well, we'll have to stay connected. Brooke, thank you so much for sharing about your amazing story, and I can't wait to catch up with you maybe in a year or two
yeah.
and see what you're doing and what's going on. And
Yes,
yeah,
thank you. We're actually getting our stove delivered, but we thought that it was canceled.
yeah. So new stove. We've been putting up with this old broken stove for months, and now we ordered it, and it arrived today, but the truck broke down. And anyway,
Christmas cooking.
that's it. Christmas cooking. It's just in time.
Yes. Well, thank you for having the platform. It's always fun to share.
That's a pleasure. So, what's the best way if someone wants to communicate with you? You've mentioned with your book, but
Yeah.
how do you recommend people reach out to you if they want to ask you questions or?
Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. There's only one Brooke Shang if you type in my
Okay,
name. Luckily, I got a massive common name, so you can reach out to me.
that's great.
Mhm.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much and all the
Thank
best.
you. There you go. Cheers.
Cheers.
Take care.
Bye.